Welcome to Real Thoughts with Bob Benham. I am your host, Bob Benham. Who else would I be? Thanks for tuning in for a new episode. Uh, I'm not sure what to talk about. I've got so many things I want to talk about. I know the biggest, funniest thing to talk about is the Democrats in our country and the liberals in our country and how damn dumb they are. But that's getting old, you know. Um, my goodness, I cannot even imagine uh, talking about them because uh, the stuff they're doing is just plain insanity. Um, uh, they've got nothing, absolutely nothing. President Trump is doing things so fast. It is literally making the Democrats' heads spin, and they can't keep up, and they don't know what to do. And it's because they have zero platform and nothing. I mean, literally nothing to counter what he's doing. I mean, they've had nothing for years except to just uh, scream about him. And when that's all you have, what are you going to do? And they're at that point. That's all they've got. That is all they've got. And he has them to the point now where whatever they're saying, it's making them just sound that much more stupid. And I don't care what the I love these media polls and stuff that say, "Oh, Trump's slipping in the polls and this and that and the other because of this tariff stuff and everything else." People, these tariffs are just going to light this country on fire because it's going to the what it's going to do for our economy is good. It's just going to be crazy. Um, the number of jobs it's going to bring back, the amount of, and I mean good paying jobs. The it's the amount of just pure money, um, because of the fact that these countries are going to have to pay the country um, extra money. Uh, is and it's going to go into the general fund for so it's going to save taxes. It's you know this is something that if you unless you've taken these courses in school, uh, you would never understand. And uh, I mean, I am no by I am no expert in economics or anything else, and it makes me laugh because you have one Democrat that is dumber than a box of rocks from New York, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, that's supposedly now the front runner and leader of the Democrat Party, um, out there spewing her social democrat garbage, and she claims to have a degree in economics and has no clue about what it is. Um, and it hates capitalism, hates. I mean, it is just absolutely insane that this woman even ran for office and got elected and continues to be reelected. Has done nothing for her congressional district. I mean, her congressional district's a mess. It looks like a third world country. And most Democrat run areas are third world countries. In fact, our whole country's turning into a third world country. If you look at our cities, I mean, um, it's truly a sad sight to see. When you look at pictures of our cities the way they are now, and you look at pictures of China and what they're building, you look at pictures of what's being built in Dubai and those places. Absolutely stunning buildings. That's what we used to be. And we're not there. We're not even close to being there. And it's because everything's left our country. Nothing's here anymore. All those places that built those stunning buildings here in the United States are gone. And a lot of those buildings here are sitting vacant. And the ones that do have occupancy are mostly banks that are occupying them. There's a few other types of businesses that have are occupying space in them, but not very many, because the cost involved in renting that spot and renting and leasing in those places is astronomical. I mean, it is just crazy how much it costs to be able to rent in that place. So it's just I mean, we've outpriced ourselves on so much, and it's on. We need to. There's so much we need to bring into under control, and the majority of it, in fact, I would venture to say all of it, is due to the government and the fact that they have outregulated everything. I mean, there is not one thing in our lives that is just doesn't have a regulation attached to it that doesn't cause us to have to pay something out of our pockets. It's everything. We have to pay something out of our pocket on everything. That's just how it is. I mean, you can't even go to a ball game without paying some kind of city event tax or Uh, I mean, get real. It's just nuts. They don't need all this. If they had done what they were supposed to do from the beginning, they wouldn't need this crap. But instead, they are so their focus is so on the wrong things. Their focus is on, hey, let's make sure he has money so he can go live find an apartment or find whatever. Let's make sure he has money to uh, eat, get Medicaid, get this, get that, um, you know, whatever. And instead of saying, get yourself a job, because there's more jobs than there are people to fill the jobs in this country. We need more taxpayers. And we're not getting them. Why? Because we're so willing to push the other. It's not making sense. We need to stop this. And it doesn't take a lot to stop it. You just say, time to stop it. Raise your hand and vote. We need to get people in here in these political positions that have the common sense to say, yeah, this is nuts. It's got to stop. We have to stop paying for this ungodly and crazy stuff that we're paying for. And we need to get it to the point where we are paying for that infrastructure that needs to be taken care of. We need to be paying for those sewers that are 140 years old underneath our city streets. We need to be paying for those water lines that are the same age underneath the city streets that burst every winter because they're so old. We need to replace these fire hydrants that are 80, 90 years old, that when the firefighters go to turn the screw, that pops off and starts spraying water everywhere. It is, the infrastructure is heinous, just heinous. Why are the roads? Why can't we keep our roads paved? It's not that hard. Nobody wants to do that. Oh, well, we'll pave so many streets this year. We'll pave this many streets this year. Oh, well, we can't do it these streets this year because we ran out of money. Oh, we can't do those because we ran out of money because we had to pay for blah 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 here and blah 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 there. Oh my gosh. When are we going to get our act together? We got, it's just, there's just too much. And, I was, I was driving through downtown Columbus not, oh, what, maybe a couple days ago. Well, was last week. And I was thinking about the whole infrastructure thing, and I was like, if they had if it came down to it where they actually had to go and start work on it and just redo everything because of how old it is. And I mean, it's falling apart. It really is. If you were to go underground and look, it is falling apart. And if they said, "Okay, that's enough. We have to do this," and if it's going to cost us, and blah blah blah. The amount of money it would take to rebuild all of that versus what it took to do it originally when the city was built. Oh my God. It's it'd be it I couldn't even fathom it. And a lot of it, well, it's at all our own fault because nobody paid attention to uh, getting it done, um, and keeping it up and doing what needed to be done as time went along. There was no upkeep. It was always, we'll worry about it when it's a problem. And that's how everything is. Oh, we'll worry about it when it breaks and then we'll take care of it. We'll pay for it then. Well, when it breaks, that's when it's gonna be the costliest. Doesn't matter. And it just and that's when you sit there and go, that really that really does. I mean, who thought that up and made that make sense to somebody? Well, somebody did. That's how politicians are. As long as they get to keep the big piece of the pie, the rest of it can get kicked down the road. I am just so tired of the way the politics are. And I'm talking about both Democrats, Republicans. I mean, just any politician, any politician. There isn't a good one out there. Um, I just I really, and, that's why I admire Donald Trump the most is because of the fact that he is not a politician. He's a businessman. And people get mad at his tweets. They get mad at or whatever he posts on X. They get mad at whatever he posts on his Truth Social site. They get mad at whatever. but they don't take into account that he is a businessman. And businessmen think in completely different ways than you or I think, and in a 180-degree different way than what a politician thinks. Politicians, all they're worried about is getting reelected, so they think the way they have their minds, it's I got to make sure I clean everything up. I got to make sure that everything I say is right on message, and I have to say it in a way that I don't offend so everybody, and um, it's just got to be that perfect perfect thing. And businessmen aren't like that. They don't. They don't. They speak what's on their mind because they don't have the time to clean it up. They have to get their message across right now. They have to tell everybody in that boardroom, this is what's getting done, and it's got to get done now. Period. That's how it is. Or if they're on the phone with a company that they're trying to make a deal with, and they're trying to get a contract done, the first thing they say is, "Hey, you know, I asked you for a contract, and I haven't gotten it yet. I got a deal from another company sitting right here, ready to be signed. Unless I get a proposal from you within the next half hour, I'm just going to sign this deal because it's not bad, even though I've been dealing with you for the last 20 years. You watch how fast that contract shows up." That's how business people are. Plus, they think out loud, and they do that because they I do it all the time too. You think out loud because you have to hear your thoughts. You hear your thoughts to make sure, and you talk out your thoughts, so you hear them, you get your own feedback. Basically, you hear your thoughts and you go, I don't know if that sounds good, and so you rethink it, and you go, okay, that sounds a little better, but you keep doing that, and that's what he does. He puts it out there. It's no big deal. It's, okay, you sit there and go, oh, well, okay, that's interesting, and you move on because he's gonna. It's he may do something with it. He may not. It's like they're all up in arms because he extended the tariffs on electronics for 30 days or whatever it was. And, after announcing all these tariffs on everything, and all of a sudden now he's extended that he's not going to put tariffs on electronics for so many days. And he's manipulating the market and blah, 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 blah. No, he is not. This is where people don't get it. I mean, the level of stupidity in this nation is unbelievable. And sadly, I saw this coming when I was in school 45 years ago, almost 50 years ago, when I started school. I watched the dumbing down of our education system. I watched it happen. Now, granted, I it didn't affect my education as much as the public education system because I came through uh, the Catholic schools, and ours didn't get affected as much as the public schools. Um, but there was a period where they started to even dumb down what was being taught in Catholic schools. And I was like, "Oh, this is not going to end well." And it hasn't. When you look at professional people, and I do mean like doctors, even lawyers and such. Now, when you look at their racial makeup and background, not many are white Americans. Why? Because they dumbed down our education and they're not smart enough to get into these schools to make it and get through these schools to get that education they need to be able to do those kinds of jobs. They don't have it. Unless they have a private education somewhere. And I wouldn't put anybody in a public school. If I had kids, there's no way I would send them to a public school or really even a private school anymore. I would homeschool them in a second. There's just absolutely no way I could in good conscience send them to public or private school. Not with what's in these textbooks and stuff now, and this whatever they call it, what is it, Common Core? Or no, I don't know what the hell it's called now. It's just insane what they're teaching. I don't know. So I just it just drives me. It really drives me crazy, and makes me sad. Makes me really sad because it makes I all I think about is the quote from Ronald Reagan where he talks about freedom is one generation away from being lost unless it's fought for. because you always have to fight for freedom, always. And we are at that point in the United States. And I don't know how can we recover from it. I don't want to see us in a war. I really don't, because we don't have the people that are fit enough, that are intelligent enough, and that are mentally fit enough to fight. We have raised a bunch of wimps. We don't have warriors. With all these, oh, well, you can go to the safe room or whatever they call it, or, this crap. You don't have that in the military. You whack 10 guys, you keep on going. There's no stopping. That's just how it is. You think the military worries about your mental health for that? No. It's got to change. We need to get our kids ready for real life, and things need to be changed and set for these kids to be ready for real life. And I don't know. Everybody says, well, you got to speak up and go to school boards and this and that, or they don't listen. They don't care. You go and watch one of these school board meetings on TV or on YouTube or whatever, and you look at their faces and stuff, and they don't care. So what do you do? Anyway, on another note, I got to talk about something that brings me joy, and I miss it a lot. I spent, oh gosh, what? Almost 15 years out west. And my late wife and I, after we retired, we moved to North Carolina for a couple of years because we wanted to retire to North Carolina. and we loved it. Absolutely loved it. Um, had a beautiful home. I mean, and it was exactly what we wanted. It was, it. I mean, oh my gosh. Um, it was a dream home. I mean, to think of what we had and things, um, it was just incredible. It was beautiful. Um, then, we were there for about 2 years, and I ended up developing a heart arrhythmia, um, and um, I was in the hospital for over a week. I mean, I was watching people come in that had heart attacks and were having open heart surgery and leaving the next day. And here I am still, in cardiac care, and they're trying to get this arrhythmia under control so I can go home. And they were having a very difficult time trying to get it under control. And it was like the seventh night that I was there, and it was the first night that I made it through the night without having the arrhythmia, where they were like, "Okay, you can go home." So I got released from the hospital. Went back for my follow-up visit with the doctor, and he said, I noticed you guys, uh, you and your wife talked about um, wanting to travel and see the country and all that." And we were like, "Well, yeah, I mean, it's, something that's on our bucket list and we would love to do." And he said, "You know, y- you might want to think about doing that right now." He says, "With your type of arrhythmia," he said, "there's really nothing that can be done if it gets to the point it was when you were in the hospital." He said, he said, "If it gets to that point again, and if you're not close to a hospital," he said, "you're pretty much, you pretty much can be dead within a few minutes because your heart could go into a flutter and that's it. You're gone." Well, that was all it took for my late wife. And she was like, "Oh man, we're selling the house. We're gone. We're out. We're gonna get we're getting into moving into the RV, and that's it. We're out of here." Because we already had an RV. We had a fifth wheel, and it was all set up for going. I mean, because we had already been previously RVing and stuff like that. And so uh, but I was like, "Nah, I've only been out of the hospital a couple months. I don't know. I'm still kind of leery about, just up and going." And we kind of hashed it out for a while, and then finally I just said, "Do whatever you want. I don't care." Well, the next day there was a realtor in the front, putting a sign out in the front yard, and I'm like, "Ooh, she's serious." So house went up for sale, and 26 days later, we were off and running in our RV. And we went down to Florida first because my late wife loved Florida. She thought that's where we were going to spend our winters until she found out how expensive it was. We went down there for October and November, and it was like $300 for the month to stay there. And once December hit, it jumped to like $1,500 a month to stay there. And she was like, no way, this is nuts. So she was like, well, I guess we're not going to be staying here for the winter. And I said, no. And so we ended up, we had some friends that we knew for a very long time, and they were out in Arizona. And they said, oh, come out here. It's cheap. We spent $1,200 for the year to stay out here in Arizona. And we're like, what? And they're like, yeah, we pay $1,200 a year for the lot rent, and we can come and go anytime we want. And, we've got the lot for the whole year. Well, okay, I guess we'll come out there and check it out. So we left and we went cross country and went to Arizona. And on the way to where they were, we stopped at a couple places and enjoyed the sights and things like that. And one of the places we stopped was Tombstone, Arizona. And all I got to say is if you get the chance to stop there, do it. It is well worth it. I can tell you, I'll be upfront with you. The buildings aren't original. They had a huge fire. In fact, they had a few huge fires, and most of the town had burnt down. And it's been rebuilt several times. But everything is pretty much in its original place. And there is still a lot of pieces of furniture, things like that, that's original from back in those days. And a lot of history, a lot of history. And you'll get the full true story of what happened with the gunfight at the OK Corral, which didn't occur at the OK Corral. So that's just something I would highly recommend and do. That is one of my favorite places to go. I enjoy it. There's some great restaurants that are there. Of course, there's a lot of shopping things and places like that. So yeah, it's one place you got to see. Oh, and they opened I don't know if I hope it's still open, but they had opened up one of the silver mines that had been closed down, so you can go check out the silver mines and see what those were like from back in the day. And that was pretty incredible to check out as well. So, yeah, Tombstone's definitely got to be on the bucket list. Then, of course, the Grand Canyon. Very nice. Not very high on my wow factor. I mean, it was beautiful, but not something that I was when I stood there. I went, "Oh yeah," just it was nice. Um, the place that took my breath away um, was Yellowstone National Park, and I actually felt like I had a connection with the earth. Um, I can't explain it. Um, it was just being able to hear the growling coming from those vents, um, those steam vents and things. It was very, uh, just very moving, for lack of a better word. I mean, very moving. Um, and just to see the different springs, hot springs, and the colors, and to see the geysers. Um, there's so many of them. Well, Yellowstone has the highest concentration of geysers in the world. I mean, for goodness sake, you're on a super volcano. It's just to think that you're standing on that is incredible enough. And my late wife worked 2 summers there at the general store, so we could live in the park for those summers. And she worked at the Grant Village one, uh, and the elevation there is at 8,000 feet, and it's right, literally, on the shores of Yellowstone Lake, and that is in the caldera of the volcano. So we were literally walking on fire, and to think that you were doing that, it just puts life in a whole different perspective. And it was it, it was just it was wonderful. It was just incredibly wonderful, and um, very spiritual, very humbling. Um, very, I mean, it's just one of those places that I would, I highly recommend Yellowstone. Um, my second favorite uh, is the Grand Tetons National Park, and that's right outside the gate, south gate of Yellowstone. Those mountains are just beautiful. It's the youngest mountain range in the United States, and they just take your breath away at the way they're formed. And I could sit there and stare at them forever in a day. They're just beautiful the way they're formed, and then you got the Snake River running in front of them. Um, it's it's just a beautiful sight. And then I can't remember the route that runs. You can actually run through the mountains. There's a route that runs through them. And it goes between Wyoming and Idaho. And it's very, very interesting route. Um, and you can do that. And then my other spot that I absolutely loved, and it ranks right up there too, is Moab, Utah. And it has Canyonlands National Park, and it also has Arches National Park. And all I can say is bring your camera and, if possible, bring your four-wheel drive Jeep, Bronco, Razor, if you can, because there are tons of trails out there. You're allowed to take those vehicles on. You have to have permission from the National Park Service. They are challenging. There are extreme trails out there where you run the risk of damaging or destroying your vehicle. I've seen plenty of damaged and destroyed vehicles being towed out of there. I've personally done 3 trails out there, and I did it in a F-250 Ford truck, crew cab with a 6 3/4 foot bed truck. So, and it got pretty hairy a couple times, and I was following my friend in front of me. He was in a Geo Tracker, or no, I'm sorry, not it's Geo. He was in a Suzuki, one of the Suzukis that were the little 4-wheel drive suckers, and those things, man, those things went anywhere. So it was a challenge to do that, especially in that truck. There was there was a lot of people looking at me like, "You brought that?" But I did it. So, but yeah, and the Canyonlands is just such a it makes the Grand Canyon it just doesn't, it just, it hurts the Grand Canyon, because Canyonlands, when you're there, it is so open, so spread out. You get such the openness of it is crazy. Whereas when you're at the Grand Canyon, you still have the woods around you and things, and you kind of you don't get that openness and open feeling like you do at Canyonlands. So that's just my opinion. Uh, so yeah, I mean, those are my favorite places out west. When I stayed in Arizona for the winter, I had a Polaris Razor. I started out with the very basic one, and then by the time I left there in 2020, I had one of those Razor Pro XP Ultimates, and man, I'll tell you, that machine was a screamer, and it was fun. I I just enjoyed the heck out of it, and um, I really hated to get rid of that. But when you're back in Ohio, where are you going to take it? There's not very many trails that allow a 64-inch wide 4x4 side by side. So uh, it went bye bye. But yeah, that was a great machine for the trails out in Arizona. And when I was out there, I rode in those 15 years. I ended up riding, oh gosh, close to 25,000 miles of trails. So I didn't let any grass grow under me while I was out there. And most of the time, and that was for just 6 months staying during the winter time. So we were moving. There was a group of us that went, and we had a lot of fun doing that. And so um, with that, uh, I just wanted to give you some good stuff for once about some of the stuff that I enjoy. Um, and four wheeling was definitely one of them, especially uh, when I got out on those trails in the Polaris. And let me tell you, like I said, I did not let the grass grow underneath me. I was driving it like one of those crazy guys in the trick trucks that race out there. Um, I did end up flipping a couple times and having to build and rebuild them and all that stuff. But it was fun. And uh, I would do it all again in a minute. So just to let you, I mean, I'm an adrenaline junkie anyway. So that's just how how it was for me out there. There was a lot of people that were that couldn't believe what I did. Um, but hey, uh, you only you only die once. It's how you live it is how, you know, how you live is what makes it fun. So with that, anyway, we will sign off for now for this episode, and uh, we'll have something coming up again soon. Um, and hopefully, we will have some more good stuff to talk about. And I will have more of what I enjoy. Maybe we'll talk about the hockey season because that's wrapping up on Thursday. And it has been a very interesting season, to say the least. Uh, Considering my team is still in the running for the playoffs, and hopefully it's, they've got a shot. Let's just put it that way. Don't know if they'll make it or not, but they got a shot. And we'll see what happens from there. And with that, we'll talk to you soon. God bless you all. God bless the United States of America. Please be safe and watch your backs and take care of yourselves. And until the next time, please, please, please be careful and take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.